What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Anderson. Got another surgery prepared for the C55 today. We're going to be deleting the EGR. Thank you to East Coast Euro and these EGR delete plates. So EGR is tucked back here. I'll have to clear some of this up. Those are the silicone breather hoses that I have, so I'll get those out of the way in a second and kind of talk you guys through of what we have going on. Before we get to that, let's pop these open and take a closer look at what we got. All right, so here are the actual block off plates. Look like they're billet aluminum as well, and I would guess these are anodized black. It looks like it. I don't see any peeking through, so pretty sure that's it. And then they have the East Coast Euro ECE right there on the top of them for each portion. And then it also comes with nice countersunk hardware, and I'm gonna leave that in the bag so I don't let them fly around and lose them on accident before I get them in there. But there they are, really good looking pieces, and excited to get these on. So again, similar like the VRP secondary air block off plates, deleting the EGR is not going to have direct performance benefits, but it will keep the intake manifold a lot cleaner, because what this does is it basically I think it's at like open throttle or different RPMs, it will basically open up a valve in the exhaust gas recirculation device right here, the EGR, and it will pump it through into the intake manifold. And then it's supposed to basically recirculate and basically burn twice to be that much more efficient. The only benefit that I've read about is people say that it can keep piston temperatures a little bit cooler, but I haven't been able to find that much truth to that. So yeah, and I know that, you know, on all the M113 racing platforms or M119s, none of them have EGR device on them. So I'm sure it's perfectly safe, and I'm confident in doing so. And I'll be happy that the intake manifold is not going to be getting so gunked up, because I guarantee if we took this out right now, which I've seen when I did the throttle body gasket, this thing is pretty filthy inside, and it's all mainly in responsibility to the EGR. So when we delete that, then it won't be pumping more gunk into it. And this summer I'm planning on taking this apart anyways and giving it a nice cleaning, checking everything out, and just kind of refreshing it. So get a head start on that and not let it get even more gunked up. So as far as the job goes, I've actually done this one time before. The EGR was one of two issues that this car has ever given me in the, I don't know, almost 4 years now that I've owned it. The EGR went bad. It actually stuck open, so it never caused any issues, but I got a check engine light off of it a while ago. So this one is actually a newer one, doesn't have many miles on it. So we did take this off before, so I'll have to kind of check on my memory on that, but it looks like there's a few inverted Torx bolts actually holding it on down at the bottom there. So one on each side. And then to get to the back portion where this tubing goes to, we need to remove the math, just get that out of the way to have a little easier access. And I think that is about it. So we'll see as we go, and I'll update you guys. But let's go ahead and get into it, and I'll update you. There's also that plug there, so. All right, so quick update for you. I got both of the ones that are holding it onto the actual cylinder head. They are E14s, you see on there. And I went ahead and removed the math, and I should have enough space, no problem, for those other two. So also disconnected the clip, really easy to pop off. It's just got the two little metal prongs on the side. It comes off pretty easy. And I think that's the only thing. I can't remember if this bracket right here for the dipstick tube is attached to it at all. I don't think so, because it's pretty wiggly right now. Looks like it's ready to come off. So I think all I need to do is get that back portion off now. All right, so small update. I remembered one of the reasons why we struggled so much last time to get this out. This entry portion to the intake manifold, it has like a J hook on it, and you have to twist it a certain way to be able to like puzzle it out of there. It's a really frustrating process. Last time we ended up undoing the actual nut right here to get the actual tubing off, but I think after I just got rid of this bracket, a little more weight saved, I'm not sure what that bracket originally was intended for. There was nothing going through it. There's a little loop. It was probably originally for wiring, but I don't know. Nothing was going through it. Same thing on this side. So maybe that's something I can get rid of over there too. But I got that bracket out of the way, and I think I will be able to snake this thing out of there. So I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'll let you know in a sec. Well, I got it out. Man. So this is the part that I remember being so annoying last time we did this. And I did not feel like spending all the time to take everything else. Like if you take the throttle body off and the rest of the MAF piping, it'd make it easier, but it's still just annoying because you can imagine this thing is sitting into the intake manifold back here like this. So like I said, it's just like a puzzle piece of trying to figure out how to snake this inner portion out, and it's just a nightmare. But as you can see if we can get some light in there, it is nasty. So this is all the stuff that makes its way into your intake manifold, and I don't want that. So that is the biggest reason we're deleting this thing. Luckily, in Washington State, we don't have emissions, like I mentioned in the last video on the SAI plates. So I don't have to worry about any of that, and it's not gonna affect how the car runs. I'll code it out. But even if you left both of these things, you know, as is and kept the check engine light on, your car would run fine. They're not gonna do anything to hurt the performance of your vehicle or hurt the engine at all. They're really just emissions devices. So glad this is out. That was annoying. So one thing you'll notice right away, which is really nice that they include the hardware with this kit, is how much thicker the base of this is for these bolts to go through compared to the thickness of these plates. It's probably, you know, a third of the size. So you have about a third of the size of the bolts, or maybe a little less than half. So really cool that they include the hardware. All right, so now how dirty is it in here? Pretty nasty. I don't know if I can get a good view of the actual intake. But yeah, you can see pretty nasty. So I'm gonna get things cleaned up over in this area, and then we will go ahead and get those block-off plates in there. All right, so got things a little cleaned up, and go ahead and start putting on the block-off plates now. All right, so one last thing as well before we plug everything up. If you can see that little valve, that's the vacuum pole from the intake manifold. That connects to the EGR. Has like a couple rubber hose lines that connect into the actual intake manifold. So you definitely want to plug those up. So we have a bunch of little generic caps made for plugging up little vacuum ports. So I think we have one that fits, and if I can't find anything, then aluminum tape, you know, a good couple layers, nice and clean, seems to do the trick, like we did on this one over here. So I'll try that out. I think this one will fit, so we'll see. All right, so that blue one was a little bit too big. I mean, it fit, but this one fit a lot more snug, so I ended up throwing a yellow one on there. So it's on there now, nice and tight. Looks like a piece of anatomy you may be familiar with. Although much microscopic size. The other thing is too, I noticed on the right hand side, this is on the driver's side, there's also a vacuum plug on there, but it feels like that's open on the right hand side. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a yellow one on this side as well. So, you know, we're doing a little bit of cleaning up today. We got rid of that extra piece of bracket. I could get rid of this side as well. That bracket's not holding anything on either on that side, but the bolt is a little bit trickier to get to. So I'm not gonna mess with it right now, but I am gonna get that vacuum plugged up on that side with one of these yellow ones. Okay, now that I got both of those, you know what shape things on, now we can start putting the block-off plates in. All right, so the top plate is on, and I just made sure they're snug down. I used a Allen key They were not on there very tight to begin with. I got the original ones off with this with little pressure, so just tighten them down with Allen key. I'm not sure exactly what size it is. It's a metric, so I'm guessing these are metric bolts, since that's what came out of there. So these are a little bit different size, so we'll see what fits in there. All right, so the bigger ones are a 5mm Allen key, and I am reusing the factory gaskets. There's a metal one for both this plate and the other one, and I did use it on the other one too. So just clean them up and I'll throw them back in there, and we'll see if I can fit this down in here. Otherwise, this 3/16 fits pretty close, so if I have to use the ratchet, I can use that. All right, so we're just buttoning everything up. These have paid for themselves like twice over at this point, 3 times as much by now. These silicone hoses, I can't stress enough, if you have an M113 or M112, definitely get these. They're like 50 bucks, you know, maybe 2 times as expensive as the rubber ones, but these will never go bad. They're silicone, and just like this job alone, before getting the rubber ones off is always a pain in the butt. They're always dried out. So yeah, definitely worth investing if you guys haven't. The other little hack I was going to show you guys, every time I put the gasket back in, like every time I service a MAF or anything like that, when I pull the gaskets out, I just kind of lube them up with dielectric grease, and that keeps them nice and pliable. Otherwise they tend to dry out as well. So instead of buying a new one all the time, just keeping it with a little dielectric grease won't hurt anything else, and keeps it nice and supple. So go ahead and throw the MAF back in there and button everything back up, and we'll be good to go. Give it a start. One other little life hack while I'm at it. This part number, these can snap really easily, and there's a specific part number that they use for the 5.4s, but you can actually use this part number right here and it works exactly the same. So I don't know why they differentiated the part numbers, but it's the exact same thing, fits just fine. So if you ever break yours on accident, right here for you, save you time and hassle and money. All right, we are ready to throw the engine cover back on. One last life hack for you. Some people do this on the forums. That's where I heard about it. I deleted the MAF screens a while ago, and it gives a little bit better throttle response. It's not going to give you any more horsepower or anything like that, but it's just a little less obstruction for airflow. And I definitely noticed a little bit better throttle response after doing so. Everything is back on, so we should be good to go ahead and start. There's a finished one. I don't know if I showed you guys. There's a finished one on that side. You guys all saw the other one. So I'm gonna go ahead, throw the airbox back on. All right, last up, let's go ahead and start it up. All right, first start up. Let's go check it out. All right, so it's running good. One more sneak peek for you. Take a look at the part number here. Make a guess on what might be coming up in a future video. All right, so that'll go ahead and wrap things up. All things considered, not too bad of a job. Special thanks to East Coast Euro again for those EGR block-off plates. You can make some on your own, definitely, but with me, time is of the essence. So if I can buy them for a small fee and not, you know, have to spend the time creating the plates myself, then I'll take it. So yeah, they're a really nice piece, really nice hardware that came with it as well. So really happy to have the EGR deleted. Next up is another component being deleted, which was that little hint you guys saw from the belt number. So comment down below if you know what I'm doing next. But until the next one, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. Think about subscribing if you're not already, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.